Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Guruve Gaurachandraya, Radhikaya Tadalaye, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan, Ishanisha Avtarakan, Tat Prakasham Statat Shakti, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. Granthera Arambha Kori Mangala Charana, Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinirasmarana, Tinirasmarana Hai Bhighana Vinashana, Anayase Haya Nija Vanchita Purana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for joining. We are reading Granth Raj. We are reading, of course, Chaitanya-Caritāmṛta is also Granth Raj, so it's not wrong to say that only Bhagavatam is Granth Raj. We are reading the Chaitanya-Caritāmṛta Adi-lila, chapter 1. We read till text number 50 yesterday. We were talking about the Shiksha Guru, or the instructing spiritual master, and that how one should not distinguish between Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, and even the Supreme Lord. In short, one should give all these personalities the respect one would give to the Supreme Lord himself. So now topic comes about Tapa and Brahma, and how Brahma did Tapa and gave this wonderful knowledge. Lord revealed, the Chaitya Guru Paramatma within revealed this divine knowledge. So let's move on to text 51. Jnanam paramaguyam me yadvijnana samanvitam sarahasyam tat angam cha grihana gaditam maya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Please hear attentively what I shall speak to you, for transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific but also full of It's not only scientific but also full of mysteries. Purport: transcendental knowledge of Sri Krishna is deeper than the impersonal knowledge of Brahman, for it includes knowledge of not only his form and personality but also everything else related to him. There is nothing in existence not related to Sri Krishna. In a sense, there is nothing but Sri Krishna. And yet nothing is Sri Krishna, save and except his primeval personality. This knowledge constitutes a complete transcendental science, and Vishnu wanted to give Brahmaji full knowledge about that science. The mystery of this knowledge culminates in personal attachment to the Lord, with a resulting effect of detachment from anything non-Krishna. There are 9 alternative transcendental means of attaining this stage: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping, praying, assisting, fraternizing with the Lord, and sacrificing everything for Him. These are different parts of the same devotional service, which is full of transcendental mystery. The Lord said to Brahma that since he was pleased with him, by his grace the mystery was being revealed. Hare Krishna. So now a very, very important topic is going to come. So you see, in this Chaitanya-Caritāmṛta, there are shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, there are shlokas from Bhagavatam, there are shlokas, of course, the Bengali verses spoken by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself. So there is a huge kind of amalgam or kind of a sangam of all the holy scriptures like Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and other holy scriptures. Of course, the great words of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So these section of is basically from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, text 31 onwards. As it is, text number actually 50 onwards. These are the verses 50, 51 to 56 are same as like 31 to 36. So as it is, as we mentioned, there are a lot of verses, more than or close to 500 plus verses in Caitanya-Caritāmṛta from Srimad Bhagavatam. So here, please hear attentively. Who is he here? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is speaking to Brahma from the within. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. And he's going to give the transcendental knowledge. So in one way, everything is Krishna. In one way, only the primal personality of Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So this is very, very important to understand that actually everything is an expansion of Krishna. Whether it's a tiny pencil or it's a key, it's a shoe, it's a person, or it's anything and everything is an expansion of the Supreme Lord in one way. But that does not mean that I will start worshipping this pen. Oh, you are the Supreme Lord. I'll offer you aarti. I'll offer you garland. I'll offer. Not like that. That's not our vision, or that's not our philosophy. We believe in the Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. The scriptures say Krishna, that is the topmost understanding, the primeval form of the Lord, the personality of the Supreme Lord. So, and how do we cultivate or develop that attachment? Is by the process Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, which is mentioned here, spoken by Sri Prahlad Maharaj in Canto 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the 9 ways where we can reading about Krishna, hearing, remembering, etc. We can cultivate that attachment to the Supreme Lord. Very, very important. The mystery of knowledge culminates in the personal attachment to the Lord. And as a byproduct, in chemistry, there are sometimes reaction. The main product is something, and there is some called residual product. So it's not the main product, but it's just kind of a byproduct. So the byproduct, the residual effect is detachment from anything which is non-Krishna, or that means which is non-conducive for path of bhakti. So let's see what these verses, what the Lord is about to speak. Text 52. Yes, Nandini Mataji, would you like to read this one?
Yes, Shodhana Pranam. Yavanaham yatha bhavo yadrupa guna karmakaha tathaiva tattva vijnanam astu te mad anugrahat. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By my causeless mercy, be enlightened in truth about my personality, manifestations, qualities, and pastimes. Purport. The transcendental personal forms of the Lord are a mystery, and the symptoms of these forms, which are absolutely different from anything made of mundane elements, are also a mystery. I'm sorry, it's behind. Are also mysterious. The innumerable forms of the Lord, such as Shyamasundara, Narayana, Rama, and Gaurasundara, the color of these forms, white, red, yellow, cloud-like Shyam, and others, his qualities as the responsive personality of Godhead to pure devotees, and as important Brahman to dry speculators. His uncommon activities, like lifting Govardhan Hill, marrying more than 16,000 queens at Dwarka, and entering the Rasa dance with the damsels of Braja, expanding himself in as many forms as there were damsels in the dance. These and innumerable other uncommon acts and attributes are all mysteries, one aspect of which is presented in the scientific knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, which is read and adored all over the world by all classes of scholars, with as many interpretations as there are empirical philosophers. The truth of these mysteries was revealed to Brahma by the descending process, without the help of the ascending one. The Lord's mercy descends to a devotee like Brahma, and through Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, from Vyasadeva to Sukadeva, and so on in the bona fide chain of disciplic succession. We cannot, we cannot ex- discover We cannot discover the mysteries of the Lord by our mundane endeavors. They are only revealed by His grace to the proper devotees. These mysteries are gradually disclosed to the various grades of devotees in proportion to the gradual development of their service attitude. In other words, impersonalists who depend upon the strength of their poor fund of knowledge and morbid speculative habits without submission and service in the forms of hearing, chanting, and the others mentioned above, cannot penetrate to the mysterious region of transcendence, where the supreme truth is a transcendental person, free from all tinges of the material elements. Discovering the mystery of the Lord eliminates the impersonal feature realized by common spiritualists who are merely trying to enter the spiritual region from the mundane platform. Hare Krishna. So the importance of the disciplic succession is given here. You know, the one time His Holiness Sachinandan Swami brought a flask of water, pure water, and a cup, and he said only way that this cup can be fulfilled is if I pour it in from the thermos. It only can descend. It cannot ascend. Cup cannot be up, and the source cannot be down. So it's only descending process of knowledge. We have to learn from a bona fide spiritual master, and we have to be ready. Yatamam prapandante sorry, as they surrender unto me, Krishna gives the understanding. It can only come by His grace. It depends on our degree of surrender, our degree of desire, our like laulyam, our how much enthusiastic, how much greedy we are to receive the knowledge. And then Prabhupada talks about Krishna's Leelas and four forms and in different colors. Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, Rama, and Naranarayan, I believe. And how those the Krishna comes in different incarnations. This is what I understand, Prabhu. Please add. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. You made so many wonderful points. I like the word mat anugrahat. By my causeless mercy, these can be revealed, or a devotee can understand, not by speculation, not by, oh, I am from IIT or MIT, I have a lot of knowledge, I have a lot of intelligence. We cannot understand by, as Mataji so nicely explained, by our own so-called learning, so-called scholarship. How can we understand? By submission. When we take a humble position, then we are like the right container to receive that knowledge of bhakti. If the container is full or not pure, then even the pure thing, let's say if I take a container which is full of one's own self, ego, pride, etc., then there is no room to put anything. That means the container thinks I'm better, I'm higher. So there will be no flow, as Mataji explained. So descending process, not ascending process. And a few things which I kind of forgot to mention in the Bhagavata Chaitanya Subodhini. So here the Lord is telling that I will tell you about Jnana, Parama Guhya Jnana, Vijnana. So Jnana and Vijnana here, the two words he'll be talking about in the text 53 and 4, which means the process Sambandha. And then the Rahasyam. What is that Rahasya? The Rahasya is the Rahasya of Prayojan, which will be discussed in 55. 53 and 54 will talk about Sambandha. These are the Chatushloki. It's an important point to understand that the first two verses of Chatushloki talk about the Sambandha. The next talks about the Prayojan, or also the Rahasyam, And the last talks about the Angam, which is the Abhideya. So Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan is the natural sequence, but here 50th, the first two about Sambandha, next about Prayojan, and next about Abhideya. So now we're going to start the Chatushloki, which is also in the Bhagavatam, which is also here, the 4 verses, the seed verses of Bhagavatam, which are quoted here as it is. So they come in Canto 2, Chapter 9, text 33 onwards. So let's absorb in these important verses. So therefore, Prabhupada has given longer purports. We know that there anytime anything is more important, Prabhupada really puts his Bhaktivedanta purports. So let's hear them very attentively, because the Supreme Lord is requesting Brahma. And through Brahma, we are also the descendants. That Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya Parampara. So let's us also absorb very attentively in hearing, reading these verses. It's a longer purport. Would someone like to start and read the first 1 or 2 paragraphs?
I can.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Could you please start?
Aham evasam evagre nanat yat shad asad param paskat aham yad etaksa yo vashishyata soma aham. Translation. Prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist, and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after inhalation, only I remain eternally. Purport. Aham means I, therefore, the speaker who is speaking, Aham, I, must have his own personality. The Mayavadi philosophers interpret this word Aham as referring to the impersonal Brahman, the
Okay, seems to be some network issues. Yes, Bhaswati Mataji, please continue.
Dhanyavad Pranam, everyone. The Mayavadis are very proud of their grammatical knowledge, but any person who has actual knowledge of grammar can understand that aham means I, and that I refers to a personality. Therefore, the personality of Godhead speaking to Brahma uses aham while describing his own transcendental form. Aham has a specific meaning. It is not a vague term that can be whimsically interpreted. Aham, when spoken by Krishna, refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and nothing else. Before the creation and after its dissolution, Supreme Personality of Godhead and his associates exist. There is no existence of the material elements. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature. Vasudeva va idam agra ashinna brahmanacha sankaraha. The meaning of this mantra is that before creation, there was no existence of Brahma or Shiva, for only Vishnu existed. Vishnu exists in his abode, the Vaikunthas. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and on each of them, Vishnu resides with his associates and his paraphernalia. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that although the creation is periodically dissolved, there is another abode which is never dissolved. The word creation refers to the material creation because in the spiritual world, everything exists eternally and there is no creation or dissolution. So here, very beautiful. Will I read more, Prabhuji? Will I read this paragraph too, Prabhuji?
Sure.
The Lord indicates herein that before the material creation, he existed in fullness with all transcendental opulences, including all strength, all wealth, all beauty, all knowledge, all fame, and all renunciation. If one thinks of a king, he automatically thinks of his secretaries, ministers, military commanders, palaces, and so on. Since a king has such opulences, one can simply try to imagine the opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Lord says Aham, therefore, it is to be understood that he exists with full potential, including all opulences. So here, very beautifully, Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, Aham, what Aham means. So only Lord, Aham represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead only, who has innumerable creations of different Vaikuntha planets, and who is the only creator of this universe. And he is the Govinda Adi Purusha. So he is the Adi Purush before Brahma and Shiva create. So he creates Lord Brahma from his navel and from Garbhadakshai Vishnu. And Supreme Lord resides in different Vaikuntha planets, and when one is annihilated, one planet, the another one is again created. So that way, the Supreme Personality, Godhead, exists with all his opulences, and he is like he is never born, never die, and he is the creator of everything. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. That's a long purport, so we'll read the next two paragraphs. Anyone wants to read?
I can read.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. So thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandava Pranam. The word yat refers to Brahman, the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. In the Brahma Samhita 540, it is said, Tad Brahmo Nishkalam Annatam Asyaha Bhutam. Anantam, sorry. The Brahman effulgence expands unlimitedly, just as the sun is a localized planet, with the sunshine expanding unlimitedly from that source. So the absolute truth is the Supreme Person of Godhead, with his effulgence of energy, Brahman expanding unlimitedly. From that Brahman energy, the creation appears just as a cloud appears in sunshine. From the cloud comes rain, from the rain comes vegetation, and from the vegetation comes fruits and flowers, which are the basis of subsistence for many other forms of life. Similarly, the effulgent bodily luster of the Supreme Lord is the cause of the creation of infinite universes. The Brahman effulgence is impersonal, but the cause of that energy is the Supreme Personal Godhead. From him, in this abode, the Vaikuntha's, the Brahmajyoti emanates. He is never impersonal. Since impersonalists cannot understand the source of the Brahman energy, they mistakenly choose to think this impersonal Brahman the ultimate or absolute goal. But as stated in the Upanishads, one has to penetrate the impersonal effulgence to see the face of the Supreme Lord. If one desires to reach the source of the sunshine, he has to travel through the sunshine to reach the sun and then meet the predominating deity there. The absolute truth is the Supreme Person, Bhagavan, as Srimad Bhagavatam explains. Shat means effect, Asat means cause, and Param means to the ultimate truth. which is transcendental to cause and effect. The cause of the creation is called Mahat Tattva, or total material energy, and its effect is the creation itself. But neither cause nor effect existed in the beginning. They emanated from the Supreme Personal Godhead, as did the energy of time. This is stated in the Vedanta Sutra. Janmadi Asho Jata. The source of birth of the cosmic manifestation or Mahatattva is the personality of Godhead. This is confirmed throughout Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, the Lord says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am the fountainhead of all emanations. The material cosmos, being temporary, is sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest, but this energy emanates from the Supreme Absolute Lord. Before the creation, there was neither cause nor effect, but the Supreme Personal Godhead existed with his full opulence and energy. So in Gita and Bhagavatam, we see again and again that the difference between the Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. But unfortunately, most of the people think Brahman is the supreme. Recently, I was talking with one of my colleagues who follows the Brahma Kumari Sampradaya. So they are telling me the other way, from Brahman and then Krishna, Ram, everything. But anyway, I gave the reference also from Gita and Bhagavatam. So Aham, a light or something cannot talk, right? But that creates everything. But when Krishna himself, Aham, that means is a person. So, and from Brahmajyoti, then everything expands and light, everything, and all the creations. And another thing is that there's a cause and effect, but who's doing the cause and effect is the Lord himself. That's the ultimate truth. So that is beyond the creation, and after the creation, it will remain with his all potency, and it will never created and never destroyed. The Supreme Lord will be there all the time. Back to Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. We'll continue to read the purport. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, you want to complete the purport?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna devotees and the Pranam, all Krishna Shri Prabhupada. The words Pischat Aham indicate that the Lord exists after the dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. When the material world is dissolved, the Lord still exists personally to the Vaikunthas. During the creation, the Lord also exists as he is in Vaikunthas. And he also exists as the super soul within the material universes. This is confirmed in Brahma Samhita 537. Goloka eva nivasiti. Although he is perfectly and eternally present in Goloka Vrindavana, in Vaikuntha, he is nevertheless all-pervading. Akilatma Bhuta. The all-pervading feature of the Lord is called the Super Soul. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Aham Kritsnasya Jagat Prabhave. The cosmic manifestation is a display of energy of the Supreme Lord. The material elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, display the inferior energy of the Lord, and the living entities are his superior energy. Since the energy of the Lord is not different from him, in fact, everything that exists in Krishna in his impersonal feature, sunshine, sunlight, and heat are not different from the sun, and yet simultaneously they are distinct energies of the sun. Similarly, the cosmic manifestation and the living entities are energies of the Lord, and they are considered to be simultaneously one with different from him. The Lord therefore says, I am everything, because everything is his energy and is therefore not different from him. Yo Visheshyate so Syam Aham indicates that The Lord is the balance that exists after the dissolution of the creation. The spiritual manifestation never vanishes. It belongs to the internal energy of the Supreme Lord and exists eternally. When the external manifestation is withdrawn, the scriptural activities in Goloka and the rest of Vaikunthas continue unrestricted by material time, which has no existence in the spiritual world. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 15.6, it is said that Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tad Dhama Paramam Mama. The abode from which no one returns to this material world is the supreme abode of the Lord. Very good. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. This is amazing verse, the first of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And therefore, Prabhupada is giving a very detailed purport. So this talks about the sambandha, or understanding, the jnana, the identity of the Supreme Lord. Aham evasam evagre. Agre means before. And agraja is actually one who is born before. So agraja also means elder brother. Elder brother is born before the younger brother. So agra means he is born, he is first. So the first is the Supreme Lord. Na anyad, nothing else. Sat asat. Who remembers what does sat asat mean?
Cause and effect.
Yes, cause and effect. And what is the cause and what is the effect? Anyone remembers? So we read in the purport that here cause refers to the Mahat Tattva and the effect refers to creation. So when the Supreme Lord glances over the Mahat Tattva, the elements, 24 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, different modes, different working senses, different karma indriya, jnana indriya, and knowledge acquiring senses, action senses, all these 24 elements, which we have discussed multiple times, they come into creation. What the so-called scientists say, there's a big bang. This was a cosmic soup. So Mahat Tattva was like the cosmic soup or the amalgamation of all the elements. And they say, oh, it was a big bang, which led to this creation. So there's a big problem in that theory. Problem number one, does bang lead to creation? Let's say if we put all the ingredients to build a home, cement, wood, paint, plastic, aluminum, water, whatever ingredient, steel, and put a big bomb there. And then the bomb explode. And then what do you come back and expect, oh, a beautiful home has been made, right? Wow, very bold. Creation. So bang does not, whenever there is a bang, the first thing comes in the mind is destruction. How many people were killed, how many were injured, much property was lost. So bang does not lead to creation. A big brain leads to creation. The Supreme Lord. So it's not big bang, it's big brain. The big, or just the glance of the Supreme Lord. Like the more complex the creation is, for example, if it's just a Lego home, correct? A small child can make a Lego home, like a 5-year-old, 7-year-old can make a Lego home. But can they make an actual living home? No, that needs a little more expertise. The small child does not have that intelligence to make an actual, big home. He or she can make a Lego home. Similarly, a small child can make a paper plane. Can they make a fighter jet plane? That needs more complex intelligence. The more complex the creation is, the more intelligent the creator has to be. You all agree with this point? So all this tells that the Supreme Lord is not some bang or some something undescribable, not some impersonal thing. There's a personal, intelligent creator behind this creation. So big brain of, and who is uh, Sat Asad, cause and effect. Paschat Aham, and after the destruction, so the material world, is created and is destroyed. Paschat Aham. So after that again is manifested and unmanifested. Like the home is a perfect example. So earlier it was maybe, every home has a manufacturing date or manufacturing, or what do we call, year built or whatever. Every equipment has an as a year built or and then an expiration date also. This building does not any last forever. Some may last for 20 years, some may last for 200 years, but it's not that it's going to last forever. So it came from some elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether, and it will go back to those elements. So that's the, after that also, that's the Supreme Lord. Paschat also, those ingredients also is the Supreme Lord in his energies. Yet there is one something avashishyeta, whatever remains. After that end, something remains. And what is that something? The spiritual world, the spiritual manifestations. Yad gatva nani vartante tad dhama paramam. That planet, that spiritual world, that is eternal. That does not kind of go through different cycles of creation and destruction. The material world goes through that cycle. It is not a such, it is not eternal, but the spiritual world is. So that spiritual world is also a manifestation of the Supreme Lord. So he is the supreme creator, maintainer, and after the destruction also, whatever remains, in short, he's everything. And he here refers to the personality of Godhead, not some light, not some bang. And yeah, I was talking about the issues with the Big Bang theory. Number one, the bang does not lead to creation. Number two, they say, well, the bang was, someone started the bang. Well, who started the bang? Correct? Like someone put fire to the bomb, but that someone has to be there. And then the famous other thing, where did the bomb come from? Where did that cosmic soup, referring here to Mahat Tattva, where did that come from? Where did that amalgamation of all the constituents come from? So they have no answers to all those things. So whom should we put our faith in? A big bang or a big brain? So devotees put their faith in big brain. But atheistic who want to deny God, who want to say, well, this is all just some bang and all that. So it's still taught in some countries and in some school books, etc. But this is not our Vaishnava Siddhanta. Any other comments anyone has on this? So the Mahat Tattva, who can tell the 24 elements? Yes, Nandini Mataji, would you like to share?
Bhumirapo nalovayu ka mana buddhir evacha. These are 8. And then working senses, hands, legs, nose, mouth. Sorry, hand, legs. And then five jnanendriyas are knowledge acquiring senses: eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and skin. And then 5 working in hands, legs, working indriya, ghanendriya, genital, anus, and one more I'm forgetting. And then 8, 10, 18. And then 5 knowledge acquiring processes: smelling, hearing, seeing, those 5, 2 more, touching, and then speaking or tasting. Yeah, I think that makes it 23 elements, and then soul. And then you can consider super soul as 25th. Is that right, Prabhu?
Thank you. At some places, time is also mentioned. Yes, I think you mentioned 24 elements. So that's basically the essence of the creation. So that's the Mahat Tattva, or the kind of the amalgamation of everything. So there's a word which comes also Pradhan. Has anyone heard of this word, Pradhan? Anyone knows the difference in Mahat Tattva and Pradhan? Or what's Pradhan?
The unmanifested form, Prabhuji, of the three modes.
Yes, that's a very good answer. After the manifestation, the effulgent Mahat Tattva, so the unmanifested state is referred to as Pradhan. It's nice. Yeah, and the manifested state referring to Mahat Tattva. In short, there is a subtle difference there. They're kind of same, but there's a subtle difference as well. Achintya. When you don't understand everything, say Achintya, it's inconsumable.
So unmanifested means like creation unmanifested?
No, even kind of before that, Prabhu. I'll try to read some more before.
That's before Krishna glances over the world, and then Prakriti is manifest, I believe. Is that right?
Yes. So Prakriti is basically when it kind of is, it's in its form here. Like we see nature, it's also Prakriti. Nature. You see trees, animals. So this is all Prakriti. We are also part of all this, all these planetary systems. So quite kind of very subtle. The manifesting, after the manifesting variety, the effulgent Mahat Tattva, which contains itself all the universes. The Mahat Tattva is therefore the state in which the elements differentiate and become ready for the creation of forms. Interesting.
Do you want to read Canto 3, where is Pradhan and Prakriti is explained, 3.26.10, or I can read? 4 lines.
Please.
The Lord points out material nature in its subtle stage, which is called Pradhan, and he analyzes this Pradhan. The explanation of Pradhan and Prakriti is that Pradhan is the subtle, undifferentiated sum total of all material elements. Although they are undifferentiated, one can understand the total material elements are contained therein. When the total material elements are manifested by the interaction of the three modes of material nature, the manifestation is called Prakriti. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
So, Mataji, can you tell me again what actually we should know about Pradhan?
Yes, Prabhu. I will post it in the chat.
No, just tell you in your own language.
Oh, in my own language. Yes. So so it says in Pradhan is not manifested yet, and they interact with the three modes of material nature, and that manifestation is called Prakriti according to here. So it's like just before Krishna is glancing, and when Krishna glances, then passion, ignorance, and more goodness interact with it, and it comes in manifestation. So before it's cosmic soup, and then it becomes Prakriti, I guess. Is that okay?
Thank you.
So materialization is still there but not manifested. Before Krishna glancing, it is Pradhan plus three moods. Right, Mataji?
Yes. What do you think Shubhola is going to do?
Pradhan is totally subtle. So from Pradhan to then the gross, and then even the gross aspect is when it comes in contact, then the Prakriti is manifesting. So that's my understanding. From Pradhan to slowly to Mahat Tattva to the Prakriti. And glance happens somewhere at this point where from but it's very.
But people, Prabhupada knew that you're going to ask this, because in the same purport it goes that one may say Pradhan is Brahman stage, but it's not. Pradhan, the actual explanation of Pradhan, however, is given here. When the cause and effect are not clearly manifested, avyakta, the reaction of the total elements does not take place. And that stage of material nature is called Pradhan. Pradhan is not the time element, because in the time element there are actions and reactions, creation and annihilation, nor is the jiva or marginal potency of living entities or designated conditioned living entities, because the designations of the living entities are not eternal. And this is what Prabhupada writes. And one adjective used in this connection is nitya, which indicates eternality. Therefore, the condition of material nature immediately previous to its manifestation is called pradhan. I hope this helps, Prabhu. 3.26.10.
Thank you, Mataji. I was thinking of an example of like a child, the husband and wife may be thinking of having a child. So that's subtle. They're just thinking of child. That's kind of pradhan. Then the child is in the womb, kind of mahat tattva, and then the child comes into out. So not the best way to explain, but so it's something on those lines. Is it okay, Mataji? You agree with that analogy?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I do agree. And Pradhan, there should be association with the three modes of nature. Pradhan in association with three modes of nature, then glances. Right, Prabhuji?
Yes, and the time factor also after that.
It says that the sum total manifestation of the three modes of material nature is technically called Pradhan. In 5.10, the Prabhupada says.
Okay, good. I think this is all good discussion. So I was thinking that rather than reading Bhagavatam, we can just read the second verse of this. It's already 9:50. So that will be the second shloka of the Chatushloki. So in short, we are reading Bhagavatam and Charitamrita both because it is so it is a chintya, right? Everything is a chintya. So we are reading Bhagavatam and also Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. That's the mercy of Krishna. So let's read one more verse, text 54. Who has not got a chance yet today? Yes, Raghu Prabhu, you want to start? It's also a little longer purport, so we'll try to.
Yeah, I can start. Hare Krishna devotees. Text 54. Rate rutam yat pratiyata na pratiyata chatmani tat vidyad atmano mayayam yata baso yata tamaha. Translation and purport by Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. What appears to be truth without me is certainly my illusory energy, for nothing can exist without me. It is like a reflection of a real. It's like a reflection of a real light in the shadows. For in the light there are neither shadows nor reflections. Purport. In the previous verse, the absolute truth and its nature have been explained. One must also understand the relative truth to actually know the absolute. The relative truth, which is called Maya, or material nature is explained here. Maya has no independent existence. One who is less intelligent is captivated by the wonderful activities of Maya, but he does not understand that behind these activities is the direction of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.10, it is said, Maya Tayakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Chara Charam. The material nature is working and producing moving and non-moving beings only by the supervision of Krishna. The real nature of Maya, the illusory existence of the material manifestation, is clearly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. The absolute truth is substance, and the relative truth depends upon its relationship with the absolute truth for its existence. Maya means energy, therefore, the relative truth is explained to the energy of the absolute truth. Since it is difficult to understand the distinction between the absolute and relative truths, an analogy can be given for clarification. The absolute truth can be compared to the sun, which is appreciated in terms of two relative truths, reflection and darkness. Darkness is the absence of sunshine, and a reflection is a projection of sunlight into darkness. Neither darkness nor reflection has an independent existence. Darkness comes when the sunshine is blocked. For example, if one stands facing the sun, his back will be in darkness. Since the darkness stands in the absence of the sun, it is therefore relative to the sun. The spiritual world is compared to the real sunshine, and the material world is compared to the dark regions where the sun is not visible. When the material manifestation appears very wonderful, this is due to a perverted reflection of the supreme sunshine, the absolute truth as confined in the Vedanta Sutra. Whatever one can see here has its substance in the absolute. As darkness is situated far away from the sun, so the material world is also far away from the spiritual world. The Vedic literature directs us not to be captivated by the dark regions, tamaha, but to try to reach the shining regions of the absolute, yogi dhamma. Shall I stop here?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Arundhati Mataji, you want to read the last two paragraphs from here?
Okay. The spiritual world is brightly illuminated, but the material world is wrapped in darkness. In the material world, sunshine, moonshine, or different kinds of artificial light are required to dispel darkness, especially at night, for by nature the material world is dark. Therefore, the Supreme Lord has arranged for sunshine and moonshine. But in his abode, as described in Bhagavad Gita 15.6, there is no necessity for lighting by sunshine, moonshine, or electricity because everything is self-effulgent. Can we read the next?
Sure.
Okay. That which is relative, temporary, and far away from the absolute truth is called Maya, or ignorance. This illusion is exhibited in two ways, as explained in Bhagavad Gita. The inferior illusion is inert matter, and the superior illusion is the living entity. The living entities are called illusory in this context only because they are implicated in the illusory structures and activities of the material world. Actually, the living entities are not illusory, for they are parts of the superior energy of the Supreme Lord and do not have to be covered by Maya if they do not want to be so. The action of the living entities in the spiritual kingdom are not illusionary. They are the actual eternal activities of liberated soul. So, what I understand that the darkness in moonshine is a way. We don't have to think of that. It's light is always inside of us. This Maya of our mind thinks there is a darkness, there is a moonshine, but inside in our heart, in our own abode, the light is always flickering. So there is never darkness or lightness in our Atma. Atma has no light, no. Atma is pure. That's what I think.
Hare
Atma
Krishna.
can feel that first night.
Thank you, Tachi. So, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hoy andhakar, Yaha Krishna taha nahi, Mayar adhikar. Prabhupada mentioned so nicely here that living entities, they are like these superior energies in reality. So they do not have to be covered by Maya if they do not want to do so. In short, they have a choice. What do you want? Do you want to serve Krishna? Do you want to serve Maya? If we choose to serve Maya, that means we are choosing to serve the illusory energy. That means we will be in the association of illusory energy, and guess what? We will be into illusion. We will be in darkness. If we forget Krishna, Krishna bhuli sei jeev anadir bahirmukh, atev maya tare de samsara dukh. When the jiva forgets Krishna, then the material energy will give dukkha because that's how it's designed. But the same jiva can become a liberated soul and go back home to the spiritual kingdom where there is no darkness because Krishna is present. Of course, Krishna is present everywhere, but in the spiritual world, all the liberated souls are present who are free from the anarthas, who are free from the illusory energy. So in short, life is a choice, and that's why we are here, to become liberated soul, to become a pure devotee and go back home, back to Godhead, and to get out of this covering of Maya. Right now, I have forgotten what my true state is, but by the cleansing process of Chaitodarpana Marjanam, reading, hearing, chanting, other devotional services, one can understand one's true state, that I am eternal servant of Krishna, and come out of that illusion. So this is the main point. The darkness is the absence of sunshine. Neither darkness nor reflection has an independent existence. So when we see this material world, etc., we should see how much more beautiful the spiritual world must be. How much more beautiful would it be free from all the illusory energy or the impurities? Then we can truly understand that what is the true spiritual energy and not be carried in this illusion. Any other comments on this text? These are the first two verses of Chatushloki Bhagavatam, talking about sambandha, talking about understanding of the jnana vijnana, because Brahmaji was curious to know about this world, so the Supreme Lord is explaining the cause of everything and what's the difference in the material world, spiritual world, jiva, illusion, etc. Anything else before we kind of pause for today?
Prabhuji, please clarify that I heard that Krishna told Brahma these four slokas. This is the Bhagavatam. Then Brahmaji, on this basis, expanded the whole 18,000 slokas Bhagavatam.
Yes, Mataji, to share.
So Brahmaji told to Narad Muni, his son. And that was not that is not the Bhagavatam as we know today. Then Narad Muni told Vyasadev. Then Vyasadev wrote it down. Um, then sages of Naimisharanya were reciting. Then it was told to Maharaj Parikshit. That time only 8 cantos were there. First eight cantos are not there in the not 8 cantos, 10 cantos. First 2 cantos are not there. And then when the sages are residing in Naimisharanya forest, two more cantos are added, which is giving the background to how Maharaj Parikshit was sitting on that stage. So this is how it has been expanding from Chatushloki all the way to what we know today with 17,000 verses.
So, Mataji, then Chatusloki was told by Krishna to Brahma.
Yes, Prabhu.
And then Brahma made 10 cantos.
No. Then Brahma told some to Narad Muni, and then Brahma expanded with the purports like, we expand. So Brahma expanded, Narad Muni expanded, then Vyasadeva expanded, and like that. And to come back to exactly how much it was expanded, we'll have to look it up, Prabhu. It will be a research topic.
That's good enough, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. And we also know that in other planetary systems, in upper planets, that there is Bhagavatam, which has 18 million verses, not 18,000 verses. So imagine 1,000 times more only. His Grace Vishishika Prabhu was telling one time that, good that we don't have to distribute those sets, right? Then think about that. Then people will have to move out of their home to get the Bhagavatam in, right? So just 1,000 times, like if one set is like one big box, 50 pounds or approximately like 40 pounds, then multiply that with 1,000. So
in one lecture, the Honorable Prabhu, I heard that when Lord Shiva was telling to Parvati that the Bhagavan sloka is 100 crore. So from there it is coming down to Lord Shiva was distributing to everybody because that's sweet, and then after distributing, it was left for us, for Kali Yuga.
100 crore, you said?
100 crore. Verses. Amanda Prabhu's one lecture, and when Lord Shiva telling, and then it is so sweet, he's distributing to everybody. Then it came to us 18,000 left over for us. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So in short, Krishna knows what Kali Yuga Jivas can handle, so has proportionately given that much only. But thank you for
I also heard that Prabhuji, so 100 crores, then he divided, 330 crores to all the demigods and 330 crores to us. And then only 1 crore was left, and then 33 lakhs, 33 lakhs, 33 lakhs.
Yes.
1,000 was there. So it's like that. It came down to, I remember that. It's very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Okay, so we'll pause here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Purana ki jai, Shri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta ki jai, Samvita Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.